Hey everybody, it's Spencer. It's Thursday, so of course we're going to do a little Throwback Thursday. But we're going to do something a little bit different for this Throwback Thursday. Yesterday was We Day UK in London, which was awesome, but it was a really busy day. And then I had to go to a little after party with some friends. So I flew back to Toronto today, so I didn't get a chance to make a video for yesterday. So I'm going to make up for it today, I promise. Now, yesterday was. Oh, God. Was it World Water? Yeah. Yesterday. Oh, jeez, that's a tight end. Yesterday was World Water Day, and what I wanted to do is maybe share two things about me that you didn't know. So this is things you didn't know about Spencer. Some of you might know this, some of you might not. I work for an organization called We, which empowers people to change the world, both domestically and internationally, and we provide experiences and products and services to help any age do just that. And so I came to work for the organization 10 years ago, and halfway through my journey, I felt really bad because I was telling audiences that you need to come up with campaigns, you need to fundraise on the things that you care about. But at the organization in general, I was just speaking about it, and I wasn't actually doing anything, and that didn't seem fair or right for me to continue to tell people to do that. So, gosh, 5-ish years ago, I came up with this idea to climb Mount Kilimanjaro, the largest mountain in Africa, with my two best friends, David and Alex. Now, we campaigned for an entire year, and originally we wanted to raise funds to build a school. But then, when we decided on our goal, a few months later, East Africa, specifically our communities in Kenya, got hit with one of the largest droughts they'd seen in over 60 years. And suddenly, our priorities had to change, and here's why. I'd heard that word drought before too, and then I saw it with my own eyes, and it was very different than how I understood. As we know, drought basically means lack of water. But it's so much more than that. So what I discovered is a lot of these community members, women in particular, have to walk really, really far to collect water every single day, either from a river or from a nearby spring. And so what happens is when there's no rain, sometimes these places where they're collecting water no longer exist because they've dried up. On top of that, most of these community members are subsistence farmers, which means that their job and how they make money is to grow food. Well, if it doesn't rain, the food doesn't grow. If the food doesn't grow, a lot of times these families all have to bind together and their kids don't go to school anymore. They come and they stay home and they help their family earn an income in other ways. So that for me was the first time where I thought, wow, I'm really passionate about education, but in order to get there, there's this issue first. Water is first and foremost. And without water, it literally dictates everything. Dictates everything. That was a hard one to say. It was almost a dirty word. So we decided we should fundraise for clean water. And we decided to fundraise for boreholes, which are a little bit pricier when it comes to our international development model for We Villages. And we decided to try to fundraise to build two, which is about $500,000. And then we spent an entire year campaigning. And every speech that I did, we threw some really fun events. It was just so happened I launched my book that year as well. And so in conjunction with like sort of book parties that we had, we also talked about what we're doing and why we were doing it. And then in June of 2012, we set out to climb Kilimanjaro. Now, I don't want to give too much away because I talk about this a lot in my speeches, but the hope was when we got to Kilimanjaro, I would do half on my hands and half in my wheelchair. And then we got there, and it was way more on my hands than we had anticipated.
This is actually easier.
No, I know.
Yeah.
It's crazy, eh?
Yeah.
Your machine, Spence. Your machine, buddy.
30 minutes down, 300 to go.
Training was for a wheelchair. We knew there was going to be parts where you'd have to walk in your hands. But it's looking like 80-20 hands right now, which is a scary thought.
And truthfully, I'm really glad that my friends said yes, that they would come, because I needed them. David and Alex were amazing at providing both moral and emotional and physical support. And then what was so interesting is on the last day and summit day, they got altitude sickness and I didn't. I think it's because of my height. I'm 2'7" tall. I'm just kidding. We joke about that. I don't know if that's real. And we made it to the top, slowly but surely. It was really hard. My buddies had to stop and puke, and it was literally simple steps or just barely slipping on the ice where normally it would be no big deal. They were falling to their knees. But we eventually made it, and we reached well over our goal, which provided clean water to 12,500 people for life. But there's still water crisis happening all over the world, and even in our own backyard oftentimes. So the following year, we did another campaign called We Walk for Water. Again, my friends David and Alex and I. We walked from Edmonton to Calgary in the province of Alberta. It was roughly 300 kilometers, which balances out to about 3/4 of a marathon every single day. So to be very truthful, it was much harder than Kilimanjaro because we were doing 3/4 of a marathon every day. And what we would do is we would get up early in the morning. We would walk for 4 hours or so. We'd get in we had this Winnebago that we like put our faces on, and it was kind of cheesy, but also secretly kind of cool. And then we'd walk for a few hours in the morning, and then we would drive into the nearest city, and we would do an hour presentation at their school, whether it was high school or elementary school or even middle school, and just talk about what we're doing and why we're doing it. And we also had some amazing celebs join us. Nelly Furtado joined us. On top of that, who else was there? We had some folks from Degrassi come and join us, Monroe Chambers and Aislinn Paul. We also had 2 mamas from Kenya come and walk with us on the first day. Of course, Craig Kilberger came. And that was our second campaign, where we were working in conjunction with WE to provide clean water to 1 million people for life, which we reached our goal, which was really cool. The reason that I bring this up is because it was World Water Day yesterday. And I've learned how important it is. We hear about it, but until you experience it or know someone that's gone through severe drought, it looks very different. And I also realized how much water plays into some of the other things that we do. I just wanted to provide education, but we couldn't get there because there was no water. So there's this interesting lesson of when you do campaigns like this, you also get to learn a lot about the world and things that you didn't know, that will help you along the way, or at least open your eyes and provide that push or that passion when things feel difficult. You know why you're doing it, and reminding yourself why you're doing it. So I hope you take some time to learn a little bit more about water issues. You can visit our website. This is a plug, but just because I care about what we do, and I think we do some really great work when it comes to clean water. So there's lots to think about, and I hope you participated in some way yesterday in regards to whatever that looked like for you, using a reusable bottle, turning the tap off when you brush your teeth. I know those seem like small things, and is that going to help the water crisis? Maybe not, but it's a nice start to thinking about how precious water can be, because we here in North America and many parts of the world, we don't have to worry about collecting water every day. We don't really have to worry about massive drought because we can go to the store and buy bottled water, or we can turn on the tap, and usually 99 times out of 100 there's clean water that comes out of our tap and out of the drinking fountains wherever we are. And so it's given me new perspective on the world and on water, and hopefully for you too. So there's a little lesson on why water is so important and my feelings on World Water Day yesterday. As always, you're my new best friend. Call me every 5 minutes. Bye.